So if I could sit down with that version of myself, 30 years old, moving fast, caring more than I realized, here's what I would tell that guy. Number one, start and don't stop. This is the most important thing on the list. That's why I put it first, and it's also the simplest. Whatever version of health and fitness you're going to build, start now. Not when work calms down, not when the kids get older, not when you have more time, more money, more energy, more motivation. Right now, doing what you can with what you have. Because here's what I've learned watching people age across two different careers. The gap between the people who feel good at 50 and the people who don't almost always traces back to what they were doing consistently in their 30s. Not perfectly, just consistently. The person who lifted 3 times a week for 15 years, even when the sessions were short, even when the weight was modest, is completely different physical reality at 50 than the person who did the intense bursts and long breaks. Consistency beats intensity every single time over a long enough timeline. The best program is the one you're going to actually do. The best diet is the one you will actually maintain. So start, show up, don't stop. That's most of it right there. Number 2, eat primal foods and don't overthink the rest. I have spent more time than I care to admit reading nutrition research, reading books, trying different approaches, and watching the conversation shift back and forth over decades. And here's what I've landed on. Eat meat, fish, eggs, vegetables, fruits, and tubers. Foods that existed before factories did. Foods that existed before man thought they could improve upon them. Foods that your great-great-grandparents would recognize. Eat them as close to the way nature made them as possible. Do that consistently, and the rest will largely take care of itself. Your calories will regulate, your inflammation drops, your energy stabilizes, your body composition improves without you having to obsess about it. I'm not telling you never eat anything else. I'm telling you that if primal foods make up the vast majority of what you eat, you don't need to spend as much energy on the rest. Stop making nutrition complicated. It's not. Number 3, lift weights, but lift smart. If I had to pick one physical investment with the highest return across a lifetime, it's resistance training and cardiovascular training, and nothing else comes close. Muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in your body. It burns calories at rest. It protects your joints. It keeps you functional as you age. It improves insulin sensitivity. It supports testosterone production. It makes you harder to kill, which at 30 you think is irrelevant, and at 50 you realize was the whole point. But lift smart. This is the part I'd emphasize more to my 30-year-old self. Your ego wants to go heavy immediately. Your connective tissue, your tendons, your ligaments need time to adapt to that, what the muscles are demanding of them. Tendons adapt slower, much slower, and a torn tendon at 35 is a setback that affects everything for months or possibly years. Prioritize compound movements, progress gradually, warm up properly, train the movements that carry over to real life. Push, pull, hinge, squat, carry, and plan to be doing this at 70 because you can be and you should be. And number 4, do what you love. This one took me way longer to fully understand than it should have. To the point where now I write it on my whiteboard in the garage where I work out just to continually remind myself. If you force yourself to do exercises constantly that you hate, you will eventually quit. I don't care how disciplined you are. Sustained misery is not a training plan. It is just a countdown to quitting. Find the physical things that actually make you feel alive. For me, it's things like lifting and rucking and being outside and moving through terrain. For someone else, it might be swimming or martial arts or cycling or hiking. It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that you actually want to show up for it. Because the best workout is the one that you actually do consistently. And you will not be consistent with something you dread every time. Try things, figure out what you actually enjoy, build your life around those things, and supplement with what your body needs that you don't love. Because sometimes discipline fills the gaps, but anchor it in things that you genuinely want to do. Number 5, do hard shit regularly. Not all the time, but regularly. There's something that happens when you push yourself beyond what feels comfortable. When you sign up for something that scares you a little, when you do the brutal workout, when you carry the heavy pack up the long hill, when you do the cold plunge or the fast or the thing that makes your body and your mind protest very loudly, you remember who you are. I came from a world where hard was the baseline. Special operations is not a comfortable environment. The military in general is not a comfortable environment. And when I transitioned out, life got softer and more scheduled. And I noticed something. I started to forget who I was and what I was capable of. The hard things had always been reminding me. When I was in the military, we did hard things constantly. And I knew inside of me that I could do anything, or at least I believed I could. Nothing scared me. But as I got softer, as I got out, and I wasn't doing hard things regularly, I started to feel weak. I started to feel fragile. You need that reminder, not every day, but regularly enough that comfort never fully convinces you that you're fragile. Sign up for a race. Do the thing that intimidates you. Put yourself in situations that require something real from you, not for anyone else, but for you. To remember that the person who did hard things before can still do hard things now. Number 6, stay close to nature. Daily sunlight, time outside, silence. I know how that sounds coming from a special ops guy and ER doc, but the more I've studied human health and the more I've paid attention to my own, the more convinced I am that it's not soft advice. It is foundational. Get outside every day. Let the sun hit your skin and your eyes, especially in the morning. Take your shoes off and stand on the earth sometimes. Go somewhere without cell service. Sit and watch the water or the trees or the sky and let your mind go blank. Hike and climb and swim in cold water. Move through terrain the way your body was designed to move. Not just for exercise, but as a way of living. The further we drift from nature, the more anxious and inflamed and disconnected and sick we have become as a population. This is not a coincidence. Get back to it as often as you can. And number 7, prioritize your mental health as much as your physical health, maybe even more. This is the one I wish somebody had said to me directly when I was around age 30. I was carrying emotional and mental things that I didn't know what they were at the time. Anxiety that I was managing by staying constantly in motion, stress I was treating as a feature rather than a problem, PTSD, etc. Things I had seen and done that I didn't process because in the world that I came from, you didn't talk about those things. You just put them in a box, shoved them down, and you drove forward. And driving forward without ever looking inward is its own kind of damage, and it just takes longer to show up. Some things that helped me along the way. Smile intentionally. Research has shown that making yourself smile and laugh actually transmits to the inner emotional state and makes you happier. Next, talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you respect. The things that you say about yourself trains your mind to think a certain way about yourself, and that becomes who you become. So speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you respect. And then watch what you put in your mind, the content you consume, the conversations you have, the people you spend time with. These things shape you more than you think. Positive input, positive output. And surround yourself with people who build you up. Spend real time with people you love, not distracted time, present time. Put the phone down and be actually there, present. Your mental state is not separate from your physical health.